One game that's fun to play as a Tokiponist is just to think about the fucking nature of things. Like, here's a Kyoto-san Pakamani, right? It is a lipu. It is undeniably lipu. You will be hard pressed to find a Tokiponist who's worth their salt and argues that this is not a lipu. That doesn't mean that it's impossible. Because I'm fucking saying this, there's going to be someone who denies it. But for most accounts, this is a lipu. It is also amani because it is used for some sort of exchange. It's monetary. But not all money is lipu, not all money is fiat. Here's a coin. Now, to me, the coin isn't super lipu. I mean, it sure is flat, but it's not quite flat in the same way that a piece of paper is flat. Because, like, paper is, like, thin, like, flexible in a sort of way. That's sort of what I associate with lipu. So this is amani, but it's definitely not lipu. You could argue it's a supa and that it's flat, but to me it more readily comes off as sike because it's circular. That's like how I think about it. But the point is not about money, it's about lipu. Lipu can mean other things. Here is a lipu. It is one of my favorite lipus. It is a fucking series of unfortunate events. It is a book. It contains pieces of paper, and it is information along with a few illustrations here and there, right? It is a lipu in that it contains information and is paper, right? Like both of those attributes can compose up a lipu. So this counts as a lipu. I'm gonna return this back here. Here's my old ass Wii collection. God, I miss discs. So like, okay, here's my argument, right? Fuck, this is hard to open with my hand. Okay, so a disc, like this fucking Wii Sports Resort. Okay, please, get out of the thing. Yeah, this CD, is it a lipu? I mean, this might be a lipu. Sort of. Almost. I mean, it looks kind of like a lipu, but it's equally seated, right? Or Toki. But is this a lipu? It has information in it. It's flat. It's bendable for sufficiently small bends. Is it a fucking lipu? I don't think it is. But, I mean, I can't come up with a good argument as to why it's not a lipu. What about a floppy disk? A floppy disk is flexible and flat like a sheet of paper, and it has information in it. So is it a lipu? I mean, like, discarding the fucking name or those ones where you can write on it. Like, is it a lipu? I guess. Okay, but let's zoom out for a bit. Let's look at the Wikipedia page where these photos of floppy disks are on. Is this a lipu? I mean, I think it's a lipu. It has information in it, but it's also not flexible or flat in the same way that a sheet of paper is. It's only like analogy to a piece of paper or a book is the information inside it because it's an encyclopedia, which I mean, sure, okay, real shit is XKCD a lipu. I mean, it's a series of pages, so it's kind of like a book in that way, right? And it contains information, sort of, almost, and it's flat, it's images, but like, who says a lipu can't have images on it? That's part of what makes a lipu, right? So, is this a fucking lipu? I legitimately don't even know. If someone calls it a lipu, I would completely understand them. But I wouldn't myself call it a lipu. It just doesn't have the lipu kind to me. It doesn't have the energy. I don't have a good argument for why I wouldn't call it that, but like I wouldn't. Is the Rosetta Stone a lipu? It's flat, has writing on it. It's not very flexible. It's a very Kiwen lipu if it's a lipu at all. I don't know why I switched to English adjective order, but like that's a lipu, right? It's a fucking lipu. It has to be, right? Because it has knowledge on it, it's information, it's encoded in language, it's flat plane, so like that's kind of what's fun to do as a young Pitokipona, trying to just like figure out what the fuck the semantic space of a word is by thinking of increasingly more absurd examples, because you can really start some like some thought-provoking shit when you think in terms of Tokipona words, because they're so incredibly vague that, like, at some point it just becomes completely subjective and depends on your viewpoint of reality as a whole. Like, does this have the lipu, and is this of the lipu kind? I guess to me it does. It feels the same in essence, but to someone else it might not. That's kind of what's interesting.